Why you should buy the iPhone mini before it's gone. This phone is super overlooked. It's been over 9 months I've been, having this device. 5.4-inch display, 12 megapixel dual eyesight camera, 4K 60p recording, 4 gigabytes of RAM, Apple A15 Bionic, 2430 milliamp, actually it's 2438 milliamp hour battery, running the latest versions of iOS. Gonna get 16, one-handed. Look at this. It's just so light. It's a feather. They're not going to make this stuff no more because everybody wants the massive iPhones. Everybody wants the big boy. But guess what? If you're into a one hand or your hand just don't fit the big boy, this is time. Just take a look at how this looks. It's just super easy to one hand this device, and that's kind of the point of the mini, but there's other places where this plays into effect. There I go dropping stuff. It's so light. 140 grams makes this thing really feel quite light. 7.7 millimeters. The iPhone mini, where I really enjoy it, but sometimes almost too much, is I'll place it in my pocket and I forget that it's there. Not a lot of phones I can do that. And that's a good thing if you're running, you're walking, you're doing something active, and you just don't want your phone weighing you down. This is the move right here. Now, right now, it's still going to run you right around that $699 price point, which is quite high. But these things are going to just fly off the shelf the minute that they go onto eBay and stuff cheaper in the future, kind of like what happened with the SE 2016. You're going to see people having these all over the place because it has a great A15 Bionic chip in here that's 5 nanometer, 4 gigabytes of RAM. It operates like a more high-end iPhone versus something that's like an SE. There's just so much on offer here, and I just think it's just super underappreciated. Apple really just went all out with this one, giving you the aluminum edges, the same type of notch experience you'll find on the other iPhone, so the reduced notch, and while you can see it deeper into the screen, which some people don't like, it's still not too obtrusive, and everything about this still feels premium. The display itself is also a good reason. While it's not tiny, it's a 5.4-inch display. It also is not huge. It also gives you 800 nits of brightness, which makes it really bright for its size, brighter than any phone in this size range. 1200 nits peak. It also tops out with a high 476 pixels per inch, so the highest resolution on an iPhone if you really care a lot about your resolution. In addition, you do have True Tone, Dark Mode, all the stuff you would expect from iPhone. And the performance is off the charts, even though this phone right here is a really, smaller iPhone versus the others. The performance is just insane on this phone. You're not going to worry at all, ever, about performance. It's a little pocket rocket you would never expect it for a phone. You can just kind of scroll through and operate the whole darn thing with one thumb. So this thing is essentially the most impressive small iPhone you can buy pretty much of all time. But people don't see it like that. They see it like, oh, I don't want a small phone anymore. There's bigger phones. I do a lot more on my phone. And that makes sense. I get where you're coming from. But there are people out there who still want this one-handed experience, this ability to just kind of have it just smooth, small, day-to-day, put it in the pocket, put it in the fanny, put it in the backpack, do whatever you do, and just rock out. In terms of the software, I actually prefer how iOS operates on a smaller iPhone, and simply because iOS doesn't really take advantage of its screen size. So even though you're just looking at this on a 5.4-inch screen, it still shows the same amount of content versus something like a Samsung phone, where if you have a bigger screen, you can really take advantage of that screen size. You really can't do that on Apple. So the mini actually is the same experience as a 13 Pro Max, but just shrunk down, but still shows the same amount of content essentially. So it's up to you. You could raise the text if you want, and then it may look like a little bit less, but that's something I like. Also, the widgets are pretty much the same experience as well. You can add those. You have the same app library, control center in the same area. The whole entire experience just feels like a Pro iPhone just crammed down. I kind of wish I would have seen a Pro mini iPhone. Let me know if you agree with that one. But overall, the software gets updated all the time. There's several years left. And if you get it now, you can still experience, a smaller iPhone for the next several years, even though they're likely not to bring something this small back. Surprisingly, audio is pretty good for this phone as well.
Here helping you to master your technology. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 15 reasons why the iPhone 13 mini, and this is so worth it, is the brightness. So if I go over here and I brighten it up,
and by the way, while we're looking at this, you can pinch in.
You'll see that it's overexposed now. You can barely even see.
A little full screen miniaturized. It's pretty cool, actually. It feels pretty unique. It feels different from the other iPhones out there, which are pretty commonplace and kind of look like they blend in a little bit with Android phones. Besides, obviously, it's an iPhone with the notch, but you get my point. Every phone is a big slab now. This one is a little slab, so it's definitely a little bit unique to its own thing. Discussing the main cameras on board, we are talking about a 12 megapixel ultra wide as well as a 12 megapixel wide, and this phone still gives you them same results, the same cinematic video. It's incredible what you can do on this little phone. You can film an entire vlog, upload it to YouTube, you can create an entire movie, you can create TikTok videos, Instagram videos at a top level with something that size right there, that small. So it's pretty remarkable that they threw in their higher end stuff in this phone, and giving you a 4K 60 lens on the front and the rear means that all of your content will match up. Surprisingly, because this phone does have such a good processor on board, you can actually edit the video, upload, and edit your photo all from the iPhone mini. That's pretty amazing. It kind of reminds me of the iPad mini, but in iPhone land. Like, you could do pretty much everything on that little iPad mini as well. The newer one with the Apple Pencil 2 support, these things are pretty cool. They're just kind of underappreciated because people tend to like to look at bigger screens a lot of times these days. One area that has also been improved is the battery life. The battery life on the iPhone 12 mini was actually kind of disappointing. Not so the case here for the iPhone 13 mini. The battery life here actually doesn't like overly impress, but doesn't really let you down. You can get through a day and you're going to be low on the battery. Like, you're not going to be finishing with 60, 70, 50%. You're probably going to be finishing down in the teens, but it's not going to die on you in the middle of the day. So 13 mini, not bad. Of course, I'm not saying you're going to be able to heavy use it, power use it like a 13 Pro Max. Let's not get it twisted. But at the same time, at 2438, you know, medium usage throughout your day is no problem for this phone. It does warm up quite a bit under heavier use. You are cramming a lot of power and stuff into a smaller shell, but overall it's really not that bad. It's pretty optimized for this size as well. Another reason why you should buy this before it's gone is because you're probably not going to see a phone this small ever again with Face ID. So that's pretty neat as well. Well, maybe you'll see it on the upcoming SE if they decide to recycle this line, make it the SE, but I feel like they'll just make a bigger iPhone as the SE in the future, just because everybody seems to want larger iPhones. So I'm not sure that'll happen. So Face ID at this level is pretty cool. This thing can charge at 18 watts fast charging, but that's not super impressive. Still can do 50% in 30 minutes. And because you have a smaller battery, I find this to charge faster than something like a 13 Pro Max, for example. This phone comes in Starlight, Midnight, Blue, Pink, Red, Green. So you have tons of options of colors. And again, I think when this phone even comes down even more in the future, it's going to be such a steal of a deal, because you'll be able to get a nice pocketable backup iPhone or something like that, maybe even your main iPhone, and you're just going to get all these nice specs on board at a cheaper price because it simply didn't sell as well as some of the larger phones. So it's a pretty good option here, and those are my reasons why I think you should buy it before it's all gone. You can get it fresh while it's still awesome, still fresh right now, different colors. Even if you wait till the 14s come out, it might come down in price point if you want to wait a couple months. Not a bad idea either, but I'm super happy with this. This is probably my second favorite iPhone in the 13 lineup. I do like pretty much all of them because they were all fantastic, but I really like the Max and the Mini. They're really my favorites, actually. So let me know your favorites down below. Do you have the 13 mini? Do you plan on buying one? Are you still confused? Do you not know if this is for you, or you're just over these mini phones? You're like, Nick, bro, stop pushing these mini phones. Everybody clearly wants a larger iPhone. Let me know down below in the comments. I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to be well, and peace.